Welcome to Building Great Sales Teams, a show dedicated to making sales teams tick, tick, boom.
I didn't have a playbook starting out. I had to learn everything the hard way. The good news is, you don't have to.
Great sales teams are not recruited, they are built, block by block. Let's get to work.
All right, guys. We got Luis Venegas with Texas Stag Enterprises.
Luis.
Oh, shit. My Texan ass is more like it. Luis Venegas. I don't know. I call him asshole most of the time, so.
That is true. That is very true.
I've known Luis for, what is it? Is it 10 years now? No.
I don't know. It's about 6-7 years.
6-7 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So he was a salesperson for a sub-dealer of mine.
Yeah.
Who shall not be named. Right?
No.
And we've kept up with each other ever since. And so I've kind of seen his journey. I think you went from that to Vivint. Was that correct?
Yeah, I was at Vivint for a few years.
Uh-huh.
Because when we were a sub-dealer for you, we were selling the AT&T products, and we were also selling Vivint, right?
Yeah.
So I knew the Vivint product really well. You know, I knew I could sell it. And then I think talking to a technician, you know, he told me, you know, how the technicians work and everything. And I got kind of curious about it.
Uh-huh.
And then I decided to apply. They called me, and I started a pilot program that Vivint was running with Best Buy. So that's how I get in with Vivint, but as a technician, not as a sales rep.
Okay. Let's talk about that, but I want to back up a little bit. And okay, so your business right now, let's go into that a little bit.
Okay.
You started out roofing, and then you did some solar, and then you quickly realized there was a huge opportunity for all of us solar guys that didn't have a roofing partner.
Well, not just that, not that you didn't have a roofing partner, but I found a huge gap between roofing and solar. When I think, they pretty much go hand in hand, you know.
Right.
But in the roofing industry, it's it's mainly going after insurance work, even more than retail, because it pays more, right? Yeah. So if you have some kind of affiliation with a roofing company, and then a storm hits, they put you in the back burner, because obviously they're going to go after the work that pays more.
Yeah.
And then even at that point, you call. Or like the solar company, the company itself most of them don't have control of, okay, well, you're going to go with this roofing company. No, they leave it up to the sales rep. So, okay, well, your client needs a roof, then, okay, well, go find a roofer.
Yeah. Right?
And then there you are. You have no idea what you're looking for, what exactly is, good quality, or, you're just like, okay, well, give me a bid, give me an estimate, and I'll just go with the lowest one.
Yeah.
But nobody's keeping up with the quality control, right?
Right, so it ruins the customer experience.
There's that, and also, with solar, obviously you want to move as quick as possible. That's always, something that the solar companies are competing on, right? I'm the quickest. I can do it in 3 weeks. I can do it in 4 weeks. I can do it in a week, whatever. Now, if your customer needs a roof, and then there was a storm recently, and now you got to wait for the roofer, I don't know, for a month, 2 months. So the whole project goes on standby until the roofer becomes available, and there you are, just waiting, right? So, finding that gap, I was like, wow, like there's something that can be done here, right? So we completely changed our business model to try to help the solar industry the best that we can and just cater to them.
Yeah.
And we just, more than just the roofing, we provide a solution to, their operations, from the point of sale to the point of install.
Yeah, I will say it's been pretty clean for us. So whenever we realize they need a roof, and it's pretty obvious a lot of times when we realize it, or at the site survey, all we do is y'all have a quick web form. We fill out that web form. We take pictures of the roof, and then it's simple from there.
Right.
And we're not trying. And that's another thing. If you are in solar, if you're trying to make a bunch of money off of a roof, that's only going to hurt the customer. And so because you guys only do you only use premium products,
Right.
you know, you have premium workmanship, we only give $500 to the sales rep for
Right.
selling the roof, and then we don't take anything off the top of that. And all that is doing is giving the customer more value on top of that. So they're getting bids from other companies that have commission built in.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From other companies that have commission built in for a less premium product, and they're getting, I guess, walk through some of the products that you guys use.
So, but by default, so for example, you have 3-tab. 3-tab is, you know, the lowest quality that you can get on a shingle, right? We don't ever install 3-tab. And then you have your 30-year shingles, you know, the architectural. And then from the architectural, you have different categories, right? You have like what they used to call 30-year, 40-year, 50-year.
Right.
So what we use is the 40-year by default. Like you don't have to ask for it. You don't have to, like nothing. We only use the 40-year. And even with the 40-year, our pricing is competitive with the 30.
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't add a commission to our roofs because I'm not doing the selling. You are.
Right. Right.
So you can either give the customer the pricing that I give you, or you can mark it up if you want and make a little money on top of that. It's up to you. I leave that completely up to you. I just tell you, hey, here's the pricing, and then you do with it whatever you want, right? And then, and the reason why we use, you know, the 40-year shingles is because, so the homeowner is putting solar on the roof, right? Now, if in the next 15 years, because the panels, you know, they're going to be paying for them, what, for 25, 30 years?
Right.
So if in the next 15 years the roof gets old and they're required to change it, now they have to pay to remove the panels, replace the roof, put the panels back on. So by giving them, you know, a better quality, you know, better shingles, they don't have to worry about that for longer, right? And plus, you know, they're impact resistant, class 3, hail rated. So yeah, it's just about, I mean, you guys always install tier 1 solar panels, right?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't go out there and offer tier 2, tier 3. You always want the best, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that the roof that we install, the roofing system, matches the product that you're putting on top of it.
No, and it works out beautifully for us because that is our pitch, is we are a
Right.
premium solar company. You know, we only install the Aptos panels because their warranty lasts longer and it's more efficient for a longer amount of time. You know, we include solar insure in all of our bids. We include tax preparation in all of our bids, so the consumers can get more than just the 26% tax credit. They can get depreciation on the system as well. And so everything that we're doing, we're making sure that the customer has an amazing experience, because we want to eventually be referral based to the point where,
Right.
you know, our guys don't even have to knock doors someday because they're getting so many referrals in. You know, that's why we're developing affiliate programs and stuff like that. And so it really all comes back to this the customer experience, but then right behind that is the sales rep experience, right?
Right.
And here's what I've realized in 12 years of doing business: if you pay the premium and you get used to selling the premium and you become acclimated to not being the cheapest on the market, you know what I mean, selling by price, and you're selling by quality, features, and benefits, and then you're improving the customer's lifestyle, your job gets so much easier on the back end.
Yeah.
You're not having to deal with angry customers because you're selling subpar products. You know, and then you have raving fans, you know,
Right.
which bring you more sales without having to prospect, you know, which is a very big deal. So, what areas are you guys servicing right now?
Right now we cover Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Corpus, the Valley, and everything in between. We don't really cover, you know, Lubbock.
Texas.
Right.
Yeah, like North Texas. Gotcha. Oh, that's awesome. All right, so what got you into sales in the first place?
My first sales job was at AT&T.
Okay.
At a store, a retail store. I had no sales experience. Even my English was very limited at the time, so I was kind of nervous about that. The reason
you're from Mexico, right?
right, yeah,
Gotcha.
born and raised. And you know, I've always liked technology. I was always, you know, looking at the new phones and the features that they had and things like that. So I had a friend that worked at AT&T, and she's like, hey, you should apply. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if my English is going to let me.
Right.
I don't want to look dumb in front of customers or not perform or something. Plus, I don't know how to sell. Like, I don't have any experience.
Well, most AT&T reps don't know how to sell.
Right.
That's why they hire us.
So, I applied, I got the job, and I became number one since the first month.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just, I don't like to be pushy.
Okay.
I don't like to be like, come on, please buy it, or, this is the best thing, or you should get the tablet, you should get the iPad, you should get Wi-Fi. Like, no, I don't work like that. I've never worked like that. I feel like just because of the way that I am, I had an approach like, hey, well, if you want it, here it is. I think it's amazing. Mm-hmm. I think this product could really help you. But if you don't want it, it's up to you. And then people would be like, oh, I'm like, okay. And so I don't know. That just helped me,
So
close more deals.
You've been through my training.
Yeah.
What is that called?
What do you mean?
You remember what that's called? That selling style?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
So that's called indifference.
Oh yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It's an impulse factor.
Yes.
But it's also a selling style. Typically, it's a selling style of like a detective, right?
Yeah.
So there's 4 selling styles and buying styles: detective, entertainer, fighter, and then counselor. And detectives are very matter of fact. This is what it is. You want it or you don't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your selling style is probably a detective. So it's easy for you to sell to fighters. You know what I mean? Because fighters want the information. They're not worried about all the I guess auxiliary stuff or like the emotions involved in it.
Right.
They want the information fast and concise so that they can make a decision, and it's always their decision.
Right. Yeah, and even when we had, promotions, at the time, AT&T was really pushing iPads and tablets and having those data-only lines.
Yeah.
And they always had promotions that you get this cheap tablet, for 99 cents as long as you get it on a contract or something like that.
Yeah.
And so...
Now, if it's not an iPad, who cares?
Well, I sold the shit out of those, man.
Yeah.
Like crazy. And so what I would do, I would bring out the phone that they requested, whatever they wanted. And then I would bring the iPad with me too. And I would tell them, hey, well, are you guys going to take the iPad too? Or you're not going to take it? Like, did you come for the promotion? They're like, what are you talking about? I'll be like, well, that's because right now you take the phone, you can take the iPad for 99 cents. All you got to worry about is the activation is $45 and then
taxes.
And $10 a month for the data. And that's it. But, here's the promo if you want it or not kind of thing, And most people, just because I would just say it, I would just mention it. I wouldn't be like, hey, what do you think? Like, it's amazing. It's like, you should get it. Like, no, I would just tell them, hey, here's the promo. A lot of people are taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to set it right here. You let me know if you want it.
Yeah.
And most people would take it.
Nice. So let's transition to you're installing and selling for Vivint, right?
Upselling.
Okay. So this is in the Best Buys. So this is what we call big box stores campaign.
So the way that program worked, a customer would walk in, and then there would be a sales rep in the store, and the sales rep would sell them the service, right? And then I would go install it, and when I go install it, I could upsell.
Gotcha.
So, but I would never go to the store for anything. I would just be in the field.
My first consulting gig ever was teaching a local alarm company how to upsell.
Really?
And I didn't even know I was consulting at the time. He was like, hey, I would pay you to basically come up with a script for us while we're installing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And teach my guys how to upsell. So I spent like a month on it. I think he paid me like $1,000, and I spent like freaking 50 hours on it, in-person training, all this stuff or whatever. Obviously now I would never take that deal, but that was my first consulting gig, was $1,000.
Wow.
But yeah, it was basically what you were doing. So did you train a team at that point to do that?
No. So at first, again,
yourself.
I'm sorry.
You did it yourself?
Yeah, there was no sales training. You know, you weren't expected to sell at that point.
Yeah.
It was just, hey, go install, and if you happen to sell something else, you make a little commission on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the commission was really good. I think we were making like what was it, like 20% or something like that, or whatever we sell. So it was a good percentage, and I was like, wait, what? I mean, the salesman in me just saw the opportunity, and I was like, wait a minute.
I'm getting paid how much to install this, and then I can make the same thing if I upsell?
Oh, man, I was making more on commission, and
Nice.
the technician salary is not bad. Because I was getting paid, hourly plus a piece of equipment that I install, well, cameras. And then on top of that, my upsell. But they did, I don't know how it is right now, but at the time, there was no training to teach you how to sell or upsell. It's just like, hey, well, if you guys want to do it, here's an opportunity, but that's it.
Yeah.
And even at Vivint, I think 1 month I got to number 1 company-wide, like US and Canada. And most of the time I was in the top 3.
Nice.
Just, from the upselling.
Very nice. So they'd almost want to install smaller systems so they could touch more customers, huh?
Right. Well, I mean, the sales reps just wanted to go with the cheapest package just to close the deal.
Right.
So I would go to houses and it'd be super basic.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, they left me a lot of room for me to upsell.
Gotcha. No, that's great. So you're doing well with Vivint. You know what I mean? Were you tapping on 6 figures yet with them or no? Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're making 6 figures with Vivint, and that's where most people are like, all right, I'm going to get the wife, get the kid, get the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to start settling down. This is a good gig. I'm good to go at $100,000 a year. Well, what did you do?
Well, so Vivint went public, and then everything changed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they changed the commission structure. They changed the pay. They changed a lot of things. And I was like, wait, I'm working more and I'm making less. This doesn't make sense. So now I have to sell double what I was selling. And I was already always trying my best. I never got comfortable. I never got to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm just going to lay back and whatever I sell, I'll sell. Like, no, every single month was a battle. Right. And so when they changed that, I was like, okay, I gotta figure something else out. I don't want to get a second job, I gotta do something else.
Right.
So I did get a second job.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I started helping this painter. So he only paints custom homes, like $14, $15 million homes, huge homes, mansions, right? And he's like, hey, my friend told me about you. He told me that you're really good at selling. My English is not that good, and I'm trying to sit down with custom builders, that obviously have certain expectations. So can you help me do pretty much, customer acquisition? And I was like, yeah, I'll help you out. So I helped that guy for a while. And then a friend of mine told me, hey, well, why are you doing that for somebody else? Like, it's something, I mean, you're growing a business. Why don't you do it for yourself? I'm like, I don't know how to paint. like, what am I supposed to do?
And most business owners that listen to this show are like, but do you know how to run a business? You know what I mean? So you can plug in any product, any service, you know what I'm saying? Everything has a learning curve. Like when we got into solar, it probably took us a solid 8 months to really start hitting in solar.
Right.
Because the product is complicated. You know what I mean? The competition is fierce in Corpus Christi and San Antonio. But at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing you did before. You're running a business.
Right.
So your friends are encouraging you to start your own business at that point. So what happens next?
Yeah, so, I'm telling my friend, well, I don't really know a trade like that. I mean, I know how to run wire, I know how to install alarms, but I'm not trying to spend the rest of my life in an attic. Right? So he's like, well, I know about roofing, and, you can pretty much put the system, the back office together, and I can take care of the labor, and, well, obviously you take care of the sales. And I'm like, well, there's an idea.
Yeah.
And I don't like to sit on an idea for too long. If I want to do something, I just want to do it. I just jump on it. So I want to say within, I don't know, maybe like a month or two, we opened the LLC. and we just went for it, you know. And obviously I would have never imagined that I was going to be doing it for solar. You know, the idea was to go after, you know, retail insurance, you know. And then Jake Johnson, he's the guy that was running the Best Buy program with Vivint. He stayed in touch with me because, you know, he's like, man, you're always killing it with the upsell. Like, what are you doing? Like, how do you do it? And this and that. So he knew that I was good at selling, plus selling actual accounts. And so he tells me, hey, I'm doing solar now. You should give it a try. You know, you're a good salesman. I think you would kill it. And I'm like, okay. But I don't like door knocking. I know I did it, you know, when we would have something for you. But
yeah, I don't like it either.
I hated it, man. I hated it. I mean, I got my accounts, you know, I got my sales, you know, for AT&T and everything, you know, but I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, man, I'm not trying to get back into the door knocking game. I'm not. And he's like, well, just give it a try. You know, it's good money. Let's see where it goes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right. And I was selling about a deal a week, you know, when I was doing solar. And I wasn't really door knocking either. It was just, you know, like a referral system. It was reaching out to my network. I mean, literally telling everyone that I know that I was doing solar, whether they were leasing their house, owning their house, bad credit, whatever. Just because even if you don't qualify or you can't get solar, doesn't mean that you don't know someone that does. So I was telling everyone that I knew, literally everyone, man, hey, this is what I'm doing. So if you or someone that you know might be interested, just let me know. You know, I'll pay you a referral fee, etc. And I did well with it. And then obviously I was doing my own roofs. I was selling both. I was selling roofs and I was selling solar, and you know, combined the two, etc.
Yeah.
It was very simple for me because I was doing both, right? But then I realized that it wasn't the same for everyone. Some people were struggling with it, and it was just a pain. You know, I'm like, man, like it shouldn't be that hard. You know, if I can make it work for me, I can make it work for other people. Like, definitely, right? And then, you know, so some things happened. You know, where I was, you know, the EPC where I was with, and you know, we parted ways.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we parted ways, and then I was like, you know what? Let me give this a try. Let me see if I can reach out to different solar companies and provide this solution. See if they see any value in that. You know, can I run a pilot and see where it goes? And it took off. Yeah. And well, you introduced me to one of them, Jimmy, right from Spear. That went well for a while.
I mean, that's how it goes sometimes. You know, I see a lot of business relationships come in and out and stuff like that, obviously, and I never really move a whole lot, you know, and so not everybody can maintain them, man. So yeah, relationships like that are hard to maintain because often people are short-sighted, you know, whether it be the price of the service, them trying to make money on top of it, you know what I'm saying, and then all the changes with materials and everything. I gotta imagine, you know, somebody had a supply yard of them, so they went with them for a little bit, and then back to you. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is when you create partnerships like that, unless you're going to bring the division internal, like unless I start a roofing division someday, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to make sense for me to be bouncing around from roofing company to roofing company. Right. You know what I mean? I get the whole idea. Oh, you got to pit them against each other and all this crap. Yeah. But honestly, you're going to appreciate our relationship so much more if I don't make you freaking, you know, sell yourself on the side of the street every time that I get another roofer offering me something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where the real, for me, like the real quality work happens, the real going above and beyond. You know, I know you've done some stuff for us, you know what I'm saying, taking some hits because of the relationship that's there. Right. And so that's incredibly important as a business owner that is running a sales team. Your team will be affected by that, you know? Right. And salespeople hate change. You know what I mean? So if you're changing roofing companies, you know, every couple of weeks or you're using different ones, it's very hard to scale based on that, you know? Yeah. And that's why I'm so set on being wildly successful in Texas before we start branching out in terms of offices and knocking doors. There's so much opportunity here. I want to be wildly successful here first and then branch out. And so my relationships are going to be really strong here. So that's one thing I think we're developing with that. And so, so you did put together a sales team at one point though, right?
Yeah, I did. But just trying to juggle both things at the same time, trying to grow the company and running operations. And, at one point I was doing sales, operations, project management, running material. I was doing everything at once.
Yeah.
And I was losing my mind. So, to try to manage a sales team at the same time, it's hard. And a sales team requires a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And especially, if it's guys that you got to keep motivated and, keep grinding, go after the hustle, all of that. And I didn't have the time for it. So
speaking of that, I was having a conversation with Patrick Bolanos yesterday. He's the one that built this amazing trailer that we're in right now. And if you can hear all the sounds in the background, it's because we're at his shop on the outside of it right now. And this is literally the first podcast we've shot in this trailer. So we're learning as we go. This is interesting to say the least.
So I'm the beta test.
But we were talking about that yesterday because he is in that kind of mode right now where he oversees all of that. He has people in place that do that, but he's also the sales manager. And I'm like, I got to be honest with you, Patrick, gotcha. You're a shitty sales manager. And it's not because if that's the only thing he was doing, he'd probably be an amazing sales manager.
Right.
But think about it. Like, you have a sales team and your manager's not full time.
Right.
And I know I'm going to have a guest in a few weeks that advocates that you can be a part-time manager and own a business at the same time and be the sales manager. So I'm very interested to see what he has to say. But from everything I've been talking to Patrick about, everything that I know from my history, and then what you're telling me right now, is kind of the consensus is running a business and managing a sales team at the same time is incredibly difficult.
It is.
So you've got to put that key person in place. But by the time that you probably would have came to that solution, you were already moving on to being a solar support company.
Right. So, and right now I have an amazing team. The way that we operate, the way that we run, we're going through some growing pains. I have to grow my staff.
It's a good
my
problem.
Support staff. Right, definitely. But the team that I have, I'm trying to not just focus on solar. I don't want to depend 100% on solar, right?
Mm-hmm.
We still do insurance work. We still do retail work. And the people that I have helping me with that, and then the people that I have helping me with the solar, they're both amazing, and I think that we are where we are just because of the people, right? I think that's the biggest asset that a company can have, the people.
That's the biggest asset that any company can have. It's like Michael Scott said, it's about the people. So let's talk about you've gone through all these changes in the past, 5 years? Kind of like, probably 3 to 4 major career business ownership shifts. Mm-hmm. And so you've also gone through changes in your personal life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how did you handle all that at the same time? Did you handle it well? Were you prepared for it? Did you have to I know you hit the gym a lot. Was that kind of how you released all that freaking
I think
frustration?
So. I definitely wasn't prepared for it. I don't think it's something that you can prepare for it. I didn't even see it coming, right? Mm-hmm. And when I was at Vivint and towards the end, I was going through a custody battle. So that was taking most of my money. I had to sell a house that I had in Mexico just to afford the lawyer because it dragged along for almost a year, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so, and then at the same time, I was trying to get the company going, and I was like, man, I don't want to wait. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of being in this position.
Yeah, because when you're going through something like that, you can't make any big investments. You know what I'm saying? You can't take huge risks because your first priority is your child.
Right, exactly. But I told myself, I'm gonna definitely take care of this custody battle, right? But at the same time, I don't want to wait to get the company going.
Right.
I might go crazy, but I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it work. And I was hitting the gym a lot. I didn't have any hobbies. I didn't have, I was spending a lot of time with my kids. I would take my kids to the gym with me.
Same.
everything, right? They would go with me everywhere.
I think we were going through all that around the same time.
I think so.
Yeah, something
so.
similar. I was going through a divorce. You were going through a custody battle.
Yeah. And, you know, I won the custody battle. My daughter's with me full time.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. And obviously the company is where it's at right now. I cannot complain. I'm very blessed. And yeah, I mean, I made it happen. I mean, I know it's possible, you know what I mean? And for that reason, me going through all that, I hate it when people make excuses. You know, when they say, well, I don't have time or I can't or whatever. It's like, no, you cannot give me that excuse. That is not a valid excuse. So I guess that's why also I don't have a lot of patience for excuses like that.
Absolutely. So I always tell people, well, one, you just joined Apex this morning, right?
Yeah.
You finally sent me the receipt. I've been giving you shit for like a year now.
Yeah.
About not joining Apex. I mean, we need more roofers in Apex. That's a joke. There's a lot of roofers in Apex, but there's plenty to go around. Anyway, so you sent me the receipt this morning, and one of our mantras in Apex is FYE, fuck your excuses. So you're going to fit right in, 100%. Like, and it is, you know, once you start doing things like you're going to hear about this G code, and then, you know, there's always somebody going through 75 hard in Apex, right? Usually like a quarter of the group, wherever you're at, you know what I mean? The entrepreneurs meetup is today, isn't it?
I have no idea. I don't know.
You better get your butt to Dallas. That's now.
What? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know.
You're going to come in. Yeah, so you're going to have to wait a whole another quarter for the meetup because you're an entrepreneur.
Well, I'm not driving to Dallas today, I can tell you that.
But anyways, yeah, so you get yourself around like-minded people and you have even less patience for it. You think you're impatient or you don't put up with bullshit now, it's going to get even stricter.
And also, you know, I don't tell people to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. You know, so for example, our cash flow is not the greatest because, you know,
scaling.
Well, not just that, but all the work that we do for solar, we do the work up front and we don't get paid until later, like way later. My AR
that's why roofing doesn't like solar.
Exactly. That's another reason. Like most roofing companies, they want 50% up front and they want the other 50% when the job is done.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you haven't gotten paid at that point.
Right.
Right? The solar company hasn't gotten paid. So you either have to front the money or the roofer is going to be harassing you the whole time for, hey, where's my money? Where's my money? Where's my money? Yeah. Right? So you got to have, you know, the means and the system and everything to
90 days of cash flow.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are not prepared for something like that. Right. You got to handle your finances very well to be able to handle that amount of work. And like if you get to a point where, okay, I'm getting more work, but I can't afford to do it, that becomes a problem. Right. Yeah. You're no longer a solution for these solar companies. You're like, well, I got to wait until somebody pays me. Right.
Exactly.
So when we've had, you know, cash flow problems like that, it's like I talk to the team and I'm like, hey, well, we got to figure something out. We got to do something. What are we going to do? Right. So I take my ass to the field and I start selling jobs. I want to say, I think 2 months ago, we needed like an extra 60, 70 grand. I sold those 60, 70 grand myself.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean? Because that's what needs to be done. And I don't make excuses. And I have the same expectation for everybody else. Right. Like I have one of my guys that was complaining about money. He's like, hey, man, I'm not making enough. I need to make more money. I'm like, okay, we'll go sell more. Yeah. Like, well, no, like I think I should get a higher percentage or something like that. I'm like, no, dude, like if I can go out there and sell, you can go out there and sell.
100%.
Right.
That's always been tough for me to handle that. And I just had to get used to it after a while. It doesn't matter that sales is a commission-only position and you can literally write your own check depending on how hard you work, right? Because we give you the platform, we give you the tools, we give you everything you need, right? But too many people, you know, instead of looking at the man in the mirror, they say, oh, well, it's the position, it's the environment, it's the commission, it's everything else except me. Right. It can't possibly be me.
Right.
And it's one of the hardest things to get my guys to overcome is that mindset of, you know, it's anybody's fault but my own, you know?
Right. Yeah, you got to look at the mirror first. You know, it starts from the inside out.
On 100%. Well, brother, the sounds are getting louder. they're obviously doing more work now that we're getting later into the afternoon, but we're also an hour in, and I know you got an interview coming up, so we'll wrap this thing up. I appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you for having me, man. I'm excited, for you, everything that you're doing. And now this trailer, now you look the part too.
Now I'm like a real podcaster.
No, you are, and I was the first one in the trailer. So
yeah, you're my first.
And I was gentle with you.
Yeah, you were very gentle with me. No, whatever, man. You talk so much shit,
but not on the podcast.
Well, we're gonna put all this in there. So,
Oh.
All right, brother. Well, I appreciate it. For everybody listening, obviously if you're in solar and you're in the Texas market, check out Texas Stag Enterprises. Where can they reach out to you at?
They can reach out to us on our website. I mean, you can Google us. I can post my
we'll put
number, my email.
We'll put your social media handles in the show notes.
Okay.
That's probably the easiest way. But what's your Instagram?
It's a TX Stag, TXSTAG.
Okay,
TX Stag. Texas abbreviated and then Stag, STAG.
Perfect. And you can go to my page too, and they're all over that page too. So, all right, guys, I appreciate it. Let's get building.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Building Great Sales Teams. We sure do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're subscribed to the show wherever you consume podcasts. This way you'll get notifications as new episodes become available. Remember, great sales teams are not recruited. They are built block by block. Until next time.